All right. So let's talk about how the New York City Council wants to cut police funding by approximately $1 billion. So you have to realize this, that on a spectrum, this is absolutely absurd. This is absolutely absurd, and this is what the left wants. The left wants this country in flames, as I said. And let's look at this from a statistical percentage. Approximately twice the number of police have retired this year in comparison with last year. If I'm not being mistaken, I might have to go check it and revise it. But from what I remember, I heard that like 180 police officers retired early in New York City, and just global meaning here in the United States. So I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. I honestly, like, without police, who's gonna protect you? Who are you gonna call, Superman or Batman to come to your house and protect you? No, no. So the left wants this to happen, and it's happening, and it's absolutely sad. It's very sad. This consulate. I mean, let's read a little more on this. It says here, New York City lawmakers voted Tuesday on budget changes that shifted $1 billion from the New York Police Department to programs that assist in youth and community development, a number that fell short of what many protesters in the city have demanded. And de Blasio, he's got to be one of the more corrupt Democrats ever. I mean, he's allowing Black Lives Matter, the movement in general, to continue. But he's canceling things like, like large events. Which again, it's intelligible to do that because you don't want the coronavirus to keep on. But again, that's the only reason he's doing it. But why are you going to continue this irrational movement during this coronavirus pandemic with a bunch of people you don't even know? You don't know where they've been, right? So that's the irrationality that comes from this, as well as you rather defund your police, your national heroes who served an oath to protect. You rather defund them by $1 billion than cancel the irrational stupidity from the left referred to as the Black Lives Matter. So indubitably, let's bring this back a little bit. The Black Lives Matter movement, it started because George Floyd was killed. He was killed by a white police officer, and I'm starting to be a little biased about this. I'm starting to be a little biased because thousands of black people, or people in general, die from police every single year. Many of them. And they choose this one guy to start the protests. It's before the elections. I mean, when you look at this, it's kind of like it's a little iffy to really acknowledge. So I'm starting to believe that the left organized this, that footage is fake, or it could be from many years ago, but we don't know. We don't know. It could be real, and it could have been staged. Who knows? But you know what it is? I mean, there's this woman who back in 2009 was robbed by George Floyd, and later on that suspect was George Floyd, and then they identified him as George Floyd. Indubitably, he's George Floyd. So George Floyd went to this woman's home in 2009. The woman, I think, had a child, if I'm not mistaken, and they robbed her clean. Looking for drugs. Woman demanded she didn't have any drugs, but, well, they didn't give 3 flying Fs. They continued to look and look and look. They didn't get anything. All they stole was many appliances, many valuable things. And then, before he left, because George Floyd is a coward. He's a coward. He utilized his weapon, and he hit the woman in her stomach, in her abdomen. And that hurt, indubitably. And it was front of the woman's child. So Imagine if you were this woman, you're going outside, and people are praising the man who robbed you in your home and put a gun to your stomach. That is absolutely absurd. It's absurd. And then the left is also eradicating monuments. Monuments that have abolished slavery. Monuments that have fought for the Jews. Monuments such as the great George Washington, the Abraham Lincoln, who without them our freedom wouldn't have been possible. You have to really realize the intensity of the situation. America is turning into a war zone, and it's happening now, and it will happen. The only way to reduce this issue, to make it more diminutive, is voting Trump in November. Let's take a look right before we get back to the defunding of the police. Let's take a look at an ad, which I think is the most accurate, or not ad, but commercial. I think is the most accurate commercial you're ever going to see. Let's take a look at it here.
You have reached the 911 police emergency line. Due to defunding of the police department, we're sorry, but no one is here to take your call. If you're calling to report a rape, please press 1. To report a murder, press 2. To report a home invasion, press 3. For all other crimes, leave your name and number, and someone will get back to you. Our estimated wait time is currently 5 days. Goodbye.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
If Joe Biden gets elected, this is what's going to occur. This preposterous America is what's going to occur. And you have to really realize the intensity of this. Many blindsided, brainwashed people, they're looking at this from a very irrational point of view or perspective. We are going to lose our police. Many people are going to die by very terrible people. We're going to lose our national heroes if this problem persists. We're going to turn into a war zone. And that cannot happen. It must not happen. And, this is absolutely terrible. I mean, losing our police, people really want to defund the police. I say defend the police. Let's not defund them. But guess what? This hypocrisy that the left always contains within them, within their personality, because it's innate. Their hypocrisy is innate. What's going to happen is very simple. When a leftist, or a liberal in general, liberals can be right or left, so we're going to stop using the word liberals just because it has, biased political party affiliations. But leftists. So that's when a leftist has a family member, what's this called? I'm sorry. Assassinated. There you go. When a leftist has a family member that's assassinated, what are they going to do? Who are they going to turn to? The police. But when there's no police? And that's where they're going to go, and they're going to want the police more than ever. Right now, they don't need them. No, not yet. But once America turns into this right here, where the police won't respond to a rape or murder in 5 days, who do you have to thank? The left. Very simple. So now let's get more to the defunding. This has made me quite disconsolate, actually. Just really foreseeing the possibility of what America can turn into. I mean, it's very unfathomable to really acknowledge that this problem, if it persists, that this is going to happen. So, New York City Council approved slashing $1 billion from New York NYPD budget. This is just bad. It says here, New York City lawmakers, I think I've already read this, but yeah, they shifted $1 billion from the NYPD to programs that assist youth and because now the world is, they don't care about police anymore. They view all police as racist. I can't believe this, honestly. The city council said in a statement that the city's 2021 budget will include $837 million in cuts and transfers to the New York City Police Department. Expense budget, which removes $1 billion from the NYPD spending when combined with associated costs. And the amount is far less than what some protesters demanded. Far less, but guess what? It's actually, when you view this on a scale, $1 billion is fairly a lot of money that you're eradicating from such a unique special force that, at least personally, I am very thankful to have. Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez said earlier that $1.5 billion in cuts would not be enough. Start quote. Defunding police means defunding police. Of course it does. It does not mean budget tricks or funny math, she said. This is like putting the NYPD budget in wherever Marx glasses. See, Marxism, that's what the left wants. That's what they've always wanted, Marxism. Corey Johnson, the city council speaker, said, "The council fought hard to get where we are, but I know this is just a starting point, not an ending point. We need to go farther." He added the budget agreement was negotiated with focus on police reform, youth services, and achieving equity, particularly for low-income communities of color. New York City Council Minority Whip Joseph voted no, thank you, against the budget cut, said, "No, what we're doing will create a thank you. Indubitably, when you have no one to serve you, when you have no one to protect you from anybody going above the law, this is what's going to happen. More violent city, a plague, a war zone. That's what's going to happen. And that cannot happen." 72 shootings, in New York, and not one shot. It's already started. It's already commencing, and we have to end this problem now. The only way this can end is by voting Trump in November. Trump already signed an executive order that states that if you just touch a monument or even think about removing or eradicating a monument, you will serve 10 years in a federal prison automatically. And the left now is complaining about that. It's absolutely incredible. We must always have safety, and we will in this city, but we're also going to amplify both safety and fairness by reaching our young people more deeply than ever. No, listen, I'm young. I'm still a teen, and I disagree with this ideology from this corrupt de Blasio guy. You shouldn't turn to the young people. They're not going to help you, Bill. They're not going to help you when you have a terrorist in your city. They're not going to help you. All they're going to do is they're going to sit their ass on their computer continuously for a large integer of time, or interval of time, better said, and they're not going to come out of their homes. Bill, you know who can help you? The police. But what are you doing? You view this issue that the Black Lives Matter movement, yes, the praising of a terrorist. I'm gonna refer to the Floyd guy as a terrorist because that's all he is, or scum. You're praising this piece of scum rather than defending the police. You rather defund them. That is just very arduous to acknowledge. It's gotten me very, very, very disappointed. Very mad. I knew the Democrats were corrupt, but they've reached corruption to a whole other spectrum. This is preposterous, this issue. Oh, God. Many demonstrators feel the budget changes weren't enough. Man saying no. These demonstrators are the same people that might have a gun pointed to their head by the same demonstrators, and then they're gonna cry for the police. Just watch. Just watch. They're gonna be sorry. They're gonna be sorry for their actions. An encampment of protest set up to demand the city to defund the police. A movement demonstrators have been calling for across. So this is, I mean, this is just sad. This is sad. Sad at this moment. This is sad. Who's going to protect school shootings from occurring? Who? The kids? They're going to protect it? You're going to give them rocket launchers or AR-15s in their classrooms? You're going to give teachers weapons? What if there's a crazy teacher? She kills her students. Who's going to protect school shootings from occurring? Who's going to condemn those actions? Who? I mean, this is scary. This is scary. I don't reside in New York, thankfully. But if it happens here where I reside, it's going to be quite unfathomable to live here then. This is just, it's bad. It's really bad. I think I'm going to end the video there. I think I made my point there. Let's not defund the police, guys. Let's defend them. Let's always defend them. Let's stick up for them. And let's vote Trump in November.